I was once abandoned on the front page, once compared as infertile to my husband's new lover, once called too cold to be a mother, and I stayed silent for far too long. That is the raw truth from Jennifer Aniston at 56. After decades of being forced by Hollywood to smile for the cameras while breaking down in the shadows, she no longer needs applause. No sympathy from the press. All she needs is the right to name the men who dragged her to rock bottom. Keep your eyes here, because this isn't just about Jennifer. It's a voice for millions of women who had to stay silent in the wrong relationships. Jennifer Aniston was born on February 11, 1969, in Sherman Oaks, Los Angeles, California, USA. She is the woman the whole world fell in love with through a single role, but also the woman the world dragged by the hair into the media battlefield just because a man walked away. Jennifer Aniston, from America's sweetheart of the 90s with her role as Rachel Green on Friends, became a fashion icon and A-list actress, one of the most valuable faces of all time. But behind the spotlight and red carpet appearances was a life torn apart by scandals, prejudice, and betrayals that were never spoken of. She was labeled the loser in the Brad-Jen-Angelina triangle, branded as infertile, not woman enough, and perpetually single by countless tabloids. Every wrinkle, every glass of wine, every visit to the OB/GYN was scrutinized as if her life was a betting game for the audience. More than once she cried backstage while still having to walk out with that trademark Aniston smile. More than once she had her role cut by co-stars, was pressured by producers to undress, ignored by directors because they believed she's famous for her looks, not worth respecting. She once wrote in an open letter to the public, "I'm tired of being defined by men. I'm tired of being called Brad Pitt's ex-wife. I am me. And just because I've stayed silent for the past 20 years doesn't mean I forgot every name, every look, every stab in the back." And now, at 56, Jennifer Aniston doesn't need to protect her image anymore. She doesn't need Hollywood's pity, doesn't need the press to sugarcoat her story. She only needs the truth, and she's ready to name every man who's shattered her life. Think you know everything about Jennifer Aniston? Think her breakup with Brad Pitt was the worst part? Then you've never heard about the man who made sure she'd never have children, the co-star who called her a nuisance, and the ex-lover who sold their bedroom secrets to the media as the dirtiest weapon. Keep your eyes here, because the names coming next will make you question how they ever ended up on her list of lovers. The first man, Brad Pitt, the man who turned Jennifer's pain into a global joke. I didn't lose a husband. I lost something worse. My faith in love. Jennifer Aniston once believed Brad Pitt was the best thing that ever happened to her. They married in 2000, becoming America's love story, gracing every magazine cover with perfect smiles and the sparkling eyes of two people living the Hollywood dream. But that dream began to crack on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith when Brad starred alongside Angelina Jolie. Jennifer once said, "I saw the change clearly. His eyes stopped looking at me. He stopped coming home on time, and I knew something was being hidden." Then one day, everything exploded. Brad appeared in W magazine with Angelina, posing as a married couple, while he was still legally married to Jennifer Aniston. The media went wild. The audience was stunned. Jennifer became America's favorite punchline. She couldn't keep her man. She was too serious. Angelina was more exciting. While Brad flew around the world with his new flame, Jennifer sat alone in an empty house under the microscope of millions, as if she were the failure in her own life story. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, and the worst part was I had to pretend to be okay on live television while the world laughed in my face. When Jennifer filed for divorce in January 2005, all of Hollywood held its breath. She didn't cry, didn't accuse. No explosive interview revealing the truth. Just one polite statement. We remained friends. We cherished the time we spent together. But behind that closed door was total devastation. Jennifer once dreamed of a family. She said, "I wanted to have kids right after Friends ended. I was ready." But Brad didn't wait. He had children with someone else just months after their divorce. And worse yet, the media turned it into Angelina's victory and Jennifer's defeat. I used to think if I stay silent, it'll all pass. But no, my silence became the foundation for their story, where I'm the eternal victim and he's the brave hero walking away for true love. And that's why Jennifer couldn't forgive. Because the first man she ever truly trusted was the one who left her to drown in a media storm, unarmed, unprotected, and completely alone. The second man, Justin Theroux, the man who said, "You're my destiny," then walked away when destiny got hard. He said he wanted a family, but when I was ready, he disappeared. In 2011, when Jennifer Aniston met Justin Theroux, the public was stunned. She smiled more, held hands on red carpets, bought a home together, and for the first time in nearly a decade after divorcing Brad Pitt, Jennifer let herself believe maybe this time will be different. They got engaged in 2012. She stopped taking film roles. She began consulting fertility specialists. Close friends said Jen was ready to have a baby. It was what she had longed for most. But then Justin began drifting. Not just for work trips, he frequently vanished without notice. Came home late, kept his phone face down. Strange messages popped up and disappeared quickly. Once Jennifer asked, "Should I be worried?" Justin just smiled. "You're imagining things, Jen. I just feel suffocated by all the expectations you're putting on me." From that moment on, instead of talking about having kids, he started talking about freedom, about needing space, about the pressure of doing what everyone expects. He didn't betray me with his hands. He betrayed me with distance and sweet little lies. Some nights she'd wake up in a cold, empty bed, texts unanswered, calls met with a sharp tone. "I'm in a meeting. Don't make this heavier than it is." Step by step, Justin retreated from their life together, all while maintaining his public image as the perfect partner. He didn't cancel the engagement. Doi Tao didn't officially break up. His promises just faded into silence. Then one evening, just weeks after a fertility checkup, Jennifer asked, "Do we really want to do this?" Justin replied, "I'm not sure anymore. I think you should focus on your career. I'm not ready to be a father." That sentence, no shouting, no fight, cut deeper than any scream. Jennifer didn't blame him. She just turned away, and from that moment never spoke of motherhood again. I used to think if I didn't become a mother, it was because my body wouldn't allow it. But no, it was because the man I loved no longer wanted it with me. I don't hate him for leaving. I hate him for backing away just as I opened my arms to the most sacred thing in my life. And if you think Justin left only a lingering ache, wait for the third man. Because he wasn't a lover. He was a collaborator on major projects who later called her an incurable nuisance behind her back in the film industry. The third man. A producer. The colleague who turned Jennifer into a nuisance on set. He shook my hand in front of everyone and called me an uncontrollable disaster behind my back. Note: the script uses John Hamlin, which appears to be a fictional or mistaken name, as no well-known producer by that name is associated with Aniston. The correction generalizes the role. A renowned producer who worked with Jennifer on 2 film projects in the early 2010s. On the red carpet, he called her a brilliant actress, professional and sweet. But just a week after one of the projects hit a post-production snag, he was the very one who leaked internal details to the press, calling Jennifer difficult, unreasonable, and no longer bankable enough to carry a film. I read that article while drinking my coffee, and I asked myself, how can someone turn on you so quickly? The media pounced. Tabloids dissected her age, her acting, her looks, turning Jennifer into the target of a flood of toxic headlines. She lost 2 major roles in just 4 months. Several directors hesitated to work with her, and for the first time in years, Hollywood whispered behind her back, maybe she's past her prime. I don't hate him for lying. I hate him because he knew he'd destroy me and did it anyway, just to keep his seat on the production board. And the fourth person, not a colleague, not a lover, but someone even closer. Someone who once held her in their arms, and yet made Jennifer feel like she would never be enough to be truly loved, even when she was just a 10-year-old girl. The fourth man, Vince Vaughn, the emotional morphine who disappeared when Jennifer needed him most. He said I made him feel alive again, but then he left just when I started believing I was still worthy of love. In 2005, amid the storm of her divorce from Brad Pitt, Jennifer met Vince Vaughn on the set of The Breakup, and from that very film, real feelings emerged. She smiled again. The press dubbed Vince the unexpected hero. Her friends believed, finally, a man who loves Jen for who she really is, not the spotlight around her. But what Jennifer didn't expect was she wasn't the one he loved, just the one he needed to feel better about himself. Vince always said, "I'm not like Brad, I won't leave you." But he was the one who walked away without looking back. She once shared, "I'm not sure if he loved me or if he just loved being the guy who rescued me from Brad." When Jennifer got serious, started talking about the future, about stability, about taking the next step, Vince pulled away. He got busy. His tone changed. He started skipping public events. And then one day, without warning, he ended things with a brief phone call. I didn't cry because I got dumped. I cried because I trusted the wrong man again. I hate him because he made me believe I was healing, when really I was just being numbed, only to wake up alone in an empty room. And if you think those 4 men had already taken everything from her, then you haven't met the final one. A man who seemed harmless, but was the very person who pulled Jennifer back into the light only to push her off the edge once more. The fifth man, Tate Donovan, the man who loved her only when she wasn't Jennifer Aniston yet. He loved me until I started shining brighter than him. Tate Donovan, Jennifer's first long-term love before she ever rose to fame on Friends. They lived together, planned to get engaged. Jennifer was still an unknown girl then, fragile, vulnerable, needing someone to hold her hand through the cold streets of Hollywood. But when her star began to rise, when her name outgrew his, when the media started calling them an uneven couple, Tate changed. He grew distant, irritable, snapped when others praised her. And just when Jennifer thought they were about to get married, Tate walked away with a cold sentence. "I just don't feel like this is my world anymore." I don't hate him for leaving me. I hate him because he made me believe that if I succeeded, I would no longer be worthy of love. 5 men, 5 wounds that never bled. But Jennifer Aniston is still standing, more beautiful, stronger, and for the first time, no longer silent. I don't tell this story to gain pity. I tell it to reclaim my voice. And you, if you ever thought Jennifer Aniston was just the victim of a high-profile divorce, then maybe you've never truly seen what Hollywood has done to her. Who do you think hurt Jennifer the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to uncover untold stories from women who were once forced to smile in the hellfire of Hollywood.